we have a really good conversation for you today because we are talking about roommates. Kenzie and I actually were kind of roommates junior, senior year of college. We lived in the same house, but we never lived in the same room together.
Yeah, which is a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah, who knows if Delight would have been here today if we were roommates.
Yeah, who knows about that.
Just kidding.
But in all seriousness, roommates and this issue or this topic of living together can be amazing. You can kind of find your best friends through your roommates, but it can also be really difficult and really dramatic and really hard because probably for the first time in your life, you are sharing a room with a complete stranger. And that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to have to brush your teeth next to a stranger or sleep next to a stranger. And I think we're all can admit that we're a little selfish and we like things the way we like things, and it's an adjustment to kind of have to share living quarters with somebody else. And so many issues can come up. You can have a roommate who is totally different than you and makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you feel like you can't be at home in your own room. Or maybe you have a roommate that you're super close with, but then you have a falling out and you get in a fight, but you have to sleep beside each other every night, and that's weird and awkward. So there's so many issues that can come up with roommates, and today we want to just talk through a couple questions to ask yourself if you're having roommate issues currently, or even questions that can help prevent you from having roommate problems in the future.
Yes, and I just want to jump right into our first question because I think there's a lot to say here, and that is, how might God be using you in your living situation, or how can God use you in your living situation?
So good.
And because I think that this is really truly such a cool ministry opportunity. Like, you are literally living this. God says, like, love your neighbor. Well, this is even closer than that.
Yeah.
I think you should have said love your roommate.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a kind of a cool story. When I got to college, I had two random roommates. Actually, one of them we met on Facebook beforehand, but that is not applicable. We still didn't know each other, obviously. And we were just three completely different people shoved into a room that was very small, smaller than an average room. And Genevieve was hilarious and crazy. She kind of had the emo vibes going on.
She did, I remember her.
And then Lauren, she was really into her sorority, pink, party, everything fun every Saturday night. So, and then there's me, who they said I was like the Christian conservative. Lame. But
you guys had some good dynamics going on.
We totally did. But we got there, and it was the craziest thing ever. Like, obviously initially we're like, this is gonna be interesting. But we truly, and I remember like my mindset like really intentionally like shifting at the very beginning of being like, this could be so cool to see these two girls come to know Jesus, because they didn't know them or him. And so that was kind of like my mindset the whole way through. So it changed the conversations that I had with them. It changed the ways that I saw them. I noticed the places they were insecure about. I noticed when they felt lonely. And I could be there for them and love them like Jesus did. And it was just so crazy because three totally different people who would have never gotten along without Jesus just totally got along.
So cool.
And we got to do like, this sounds hilarious. It doesn't even sound real, but we did literally our like Jesus calling devotional like every night together. And they wanted to do it. Like, they took initiative with it eventually. And you know, even Lauren loved Genevieve, and like, it was just cool to see the whole thing come full circle.
So cool.
And there were times I was frustrated and times that it was hard, but I look back and those were like, I would have never changed that. And sometimes I even want that more, because I think as Christians, we just always need to be putting ourselves out there in uncomfortable places. And this is like, even if it's uncomfortable for you right now, if they don't know Jesus and they're partying or maybe they're mean or maybe they're messy or whatever the situation is, seriously whatever, there's no excuse to just not love them like Jesus would love them. And use your roommate situation as a ministry opportunity. And
so good. I think it's so common in roommate situations. I talk with so many girls, and it's kind of this woe is me perspective of, my roommate parties and my roommate's messy, and it's all like you're seeing your own perspective. But I love that shift of, okay, God, how might you want to use this situation like for your good and your glory? Because I think that changes our mindset too. So it's really good. So the second question to kind of think about and ask yourself is, are you creating an environment for your roommate to feel loved and accepted? I think so oftentimes we get frustrated with our roommate and we kind of withdraw our warmth, we withdraw our kindness, we withdraw our openness, and instead we create this really, honestly, just negative environment that we have to live in and our roommate lives in. And the truth is, when you create an environment like that, you're gonna get the worst version of people. But when you create an environment where your roommate can feel loved and accepted and accepted for just who they are, and they can feel seen and loved and known, all these things, then you're gonna get the best version of your roommate. You're gonna get someone who's open to having great conversations with you, someone who's open to, when you come to them and say, hey, it really bothers me when you do X, Y, Z, they're gonna respond with, oh, because you love me and I know you love me, like I can respond to that in a healthy way. So really be intentional about creating an environment for your roommate to be able to be the best version of themselves, because I think it'll take away a lot of potential conflict or a lot of potential issues that you might face. So super
I love that, putting it back on you, because if they're acting funny or weird or you're frustrated with them, a lot of times it just has to do with the way, the environment you're creating, and just accept that and own it. Take ownership of things in roommate situations. I think it's better. And then the third question that we want to ask you all is, are you having honest conversations with your roommate and our roommates? And that sounds like so basic, but it's really important, because you need to be confronting things instead of letting it like build up in your heart, because when you let things build up, it's just gonna get worse, and it's gonna be a harder conversation when you have to have it. And also, I think if we aren't having conversations with our roommates, we're often having conversation about our roommates with other people, which anytime that you talk negatively about somebody, not to that person, you just start to believe those things even more than you actually believe them. Like there were times, you know, of course, like when I was talking like poorly about Genevieve and how she, I don't even remember, but blah, blah, blah. And then I start to believe those things about her, which isn't even like who God created her to be. It's not even true. And so going to them and having honest conversations first is just so, so important. And it will save your relationship in so many ways.
And I think it gives God the opportunity to move and to work. If you just keep it inside and never address it and never confront it, then God can't really provide healing or restoration to it. And so I think when you are humble and you stop and have those hard conversations, it gives God room to work and to move and to change the environment once again. So 3 questions to ask yourself. The first being,
help me out. Are you making your roommate situation a ministry opportunity?
Yes.
Are you bringing God into it?
The second one being, are you creating an environment for your roommate to feel loved and accepted?
And then the third one is, are you having honest conversations with your roommate?
Yes, so think about those today, process those, pray about those, and hopefully it'll provide just a new perspective on your living situation from the past or for this upcoming school year.
It's gonna be good. Best friends are roommates too.
Yay!